Why is the janitor standing on stage? The whisper cut through the school auditorium like a razor. Nyla Bennett stood alone under the spotlight, holding a folded piece of paper in her trembling hands. Her uniform, gray and oversized, looked out of place amid the polished stage, the elegant backdrop, the students in crisp uniforms seated below. Principal Sharp stood to the side, microphone in hand, frowning deeply. "There must be some confusion," she announced. "This portion of the assembly's for honor recipients, not staff." A few chuckles rippled through the crowd. A girl in the front row pulled out her phone. "Is this part of the program?" she whispered to her friend. Nyla didn't move. She just stood there, silent. But her presence, it shook something loose in the air. Mr. Jacobs, a quiet history teacher, stepped forward from the sidelines, his voice low. "She has a right to speak." Sharp snapped. "She's not even a student here." The room tensed. "I am," Nyla said quietly into the mic, eyes still cast downward. "Today, I start my first official day." A gasp broke from the crowd. Phones came out. Principal Sharp froze. And from the back row, a woman with silver curls and a navy blue suit stood up slowly. No one recognized her yet. But they would. What the woman said next would stop the entire room cold. The silver-haired woman stepped down the aisle slowly, each click of her heels echoing louder than the murmurs. Nyla kept her eyes down. Her fingers gripped the note tighter, but she didn't back away. Principal Sharp cleared her throat. This is a misunderstanding. Some intern must have—" "No," the woman interrupted calmly, reaching the edge of the stage. "I approved her, personally, 2 weeks ago." Gasps now turned to silence. A few teachers exchanged glances. Mr. Jacobs took a step back. The woman climbed onto the stage without help. Her badge shimmered under the lights. Loretta West, chairwoman of the board. "I came here unannounced because I wanted to see how this institution treats dignity when no one's watching." Sharp flushed red. "Ms. West, You spoke over a student without even asking her name." A girl in the front row whispered, "Wait, she's really a student?" Nyla raised her head slowly. "I was awarded the Rising Voice Scholarship, but I didn't want a grand welcome. I just wanted to start. Quietly." Another pause, then from the left aisle, someone began clapping. Just once. Then twice. Slowly more joined in. But Nyla didn't smile. She looked at the principal. "You told me I didn't belong here, before you knew my name." Sharp opened her mouth, then shut it. But the real twist hadn't even happened yet. The applause faded as quickly as it had begun, swallowed by a tension that thickened the air. Nyla stepped closer to the mic. Her voice trembled, but not from fear. "I wasn't always a student," she said. "My mother worked here, as a janitor. She died 2 years ago, on this very stage." Gasps returned. Mr. Jacobs closed his eyes. One student in the back lowered their phone. "She collapsed during the overnight shift, cleaning up after a fundraiser she wasn't allowed to attend." Loretta West's jaw tightened. Principal Sharp shifted uncomfortably. That was before my tenure." "But you were the vice principal," Nyla replied. "You walked past her that night." Silence again. "My mom used to bring me here after school. I'd wait in the wings while she scrubbed the floors you walked on." Her voice cracked, but didn't break. "She told me, 'One day you'll stand here, but not with a mop.' And now she was." A quiet sob broke from somewhere in the audience. Even the students who had mocked her now looked stunned. Sharp stepped forward, visibly rattled. "Nyla, I think this isn't the time." But the microphone cut out. Static buzzed. The power flickered briefly. Someone had turned it off. All eyes turned toward the sound booth, where a young technician stood frozen, hand still on the switch. Then a voice rang out, louder than any mic. "Let her finish." It was Loretta. And that single command would change the rest of the day. With no microphone, Nyla stepped forward. Her voice had to carry on its own now. She didn't flinch. "I came here not just to study," she said, louder this time. "I came to finish what my mother started." She wanted this school to see us, not as shadows, not as background, as people. Somewhere in the crowd, a girl wiped a tear from her cheek. Mr. Jacobs placed a hand over his heart. Scholarship was not a handout. It came from the essay I submitted about cleaning these halls, about watching my mother be ignored in silence. I titled it, "The Floor Remembers What You Step On." The room was still. Even Principal Sharp couldn't move. "On new," she said, "the moment I was offered this stage, you wouldn't see a scholar. You'd see her uniform." Sharp looked pale. Nyla turned, facing the students now. "You all clapped when Ms. West spoke up, but not when I stood here alone. That's okay. I've learned that silence reveals more truth than applause ever will." No one dared to interrupt. She took one last look at the crowd, then folded the paper and tucked it back into her pocket. Without another word, she stepped off the stage, not with her head bowed, but lifted, calm, and deliberate. Behind her, Loretta West walked to the mic. She didn't say much. Just one sentence. "Principal Sharp's duties are now under review." And in that silence, they finally saw her. The auditorium remained frozen. No one clapped this time. Not out of disrespect, but because they didn't know how. Nyla didn't look back as she walked past the rows of students. Her steps were steady, her uniform still baggy, her shoes still scuffed. But something about her had changed. No longer a shadow moving through halls, but a presence too loud to ignore. Outside, the fall breeze met her face. Leaves rustled like distant applause. She paused near the steps where her mother used to sit during late shifts. There, taped beneath the bench, was a note, faded but intact. It read, "You are not what they say. You are what you carry forward." She closed her eyes. Behind her, footsteps approached. Loretta West. "You know," the woman said softly, "I used to wear that same uniform. Different school, same stairs." Nyla smiled, barely. "How did you keep going?" "I stopped waiting for permission." They stood there a moment, 2 generations stitched by labor, loss, and something louder than any mic: dignity. Loretta reached into her coat and handed Nyla a new folder. "This is your official scholarship certificate," she said, "but I have a feeling that piece of paper in your pocket means more." Nyla nodded. She didn't speak again. She didn't need to. Because for once, she had already said enough. And as the school bell rang in the distance, one truth echoed louder than all the noise before. She didn't take the stage to be seen. She took it to make them see. Thanks for watching this video. Nyla Bennett's story reminds us that quiet strength can shake the loudest rooms. She proved you don't need a title to deserve respect, only the courage to speak your truth. If her story inspired you, subscribe, leave a comment, and share to keep voices like Nyla's alive.